Alright guys, back to life skills you didn't ask for. So today we're going to learn how to make an old-fashioned. Because if you're going to drink, you may as well drink like a sir. Also, because it turns even the worst of whiskeys into something palatable. And not just whiskeys. You can do it with rum. Don't know why you would do it with gin, but god damn, I love a tequila old-fashioned. In a tequila old-fashioned, if you want to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more palatable to drink, just top a little bit of sweet and sour on the top and you're good to go. Now, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the basics of a sweet and sour, right? What we're working with today, nothing too fancy. We'll get right into it. Today, I'm going to be using Bulleit Bourbon because it's nice, it's sweet, it's 90 proof. It's good to go. So, as long as I remember where I put everything, and this doesn't get too hectic. So, I'm going to go ahead and use a little jig for measuring. You don't have to use one. It's just one of those things that I'm lucky enough to have. So, the only ingredients you are going to need is a liquor. In this case, we're going to be using what you should be using for a standard old-fashioned, regular old-fashioned, being whiskey. A lot of people like bourbon. A lot of people like rye. Me, I'm going to go with bourbon today. So, I'm going to go with Bulleit Bourbon. We're going to need a simple syrup. Right? I made my own, which we'll go over that here in a second. Which it's extremely easy, the easiest thing to make for your own little personal bars. Let's see. Of course, a glass, ice, and bitters. Right. So. Your basic is your Angostura bitters. There are a few different colors and so on and so forth. Aromatic bitters, Angostura, whatever they may be. There's also extremely fancy ones that after the initial old-fashioned, I'll make a more fancy one, a little bit more flavor, a little bit, something a little bit with some razzle dazzle to it, maybe using the cocoa bitters or the walnut bitters. Those are really fancy, really nice. And last but not least, garnish, right? New cocktail cherries. If you use maraschino cherries, you're a cheap bastard and people probably don't like you. So, I said probably, okay? You may just be fucking ignorant. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started on this. So, I'm going to start with a healthy helping of this Bulleit Bourbon that happens to be in screwball bottles in a fireball spout because chaos is soothing, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to start with this. Okay. Good to go on that. Now, so the simple syrup, this right here is just homemade simple syrup. All simple syrup is sugar and water. That's all this is. This is liquid sugar. So what I did is I took some brown sugar, some turbinado sugar. I did a 2-to-1 ratio. So in terms of weight, 2 pounds of sugar, 1 pound of water. So a regular water bottle is usually about 16.9 ounces, somewhere around there. So a pound of water, right? So pour that into a pot, get that boiling, and I took 2 pounds of that sugar, and I got it boiling, started stirring it, poured 1 pound of sugar in there, stirred it until that was all gone, poured the next one in there, stirred it till that was gone, and then I got this. Eventually, after it cooled, it got really syrupy, really thick, so on and so forth. And I did the same thing with others, being the blueberry simple syrup, which all you really have to do is the same process, just when you're adding those chopped up and cut up fruits, you have to eventually strain them out in very fine strainer or whatever it may be. I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's my raspberry, that's the red one. This is my blueberry, that's the blue one, because sometimes I'm a fancy bitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the small one here for our simple syrup. It doesn't need a lot, usually about half an ounce. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull that sucker up. There we go. I'm just going to pour that directly in. Now, in terms of bitters, we use these. There's a little Angostura aromatic. I'm sorry, I am having trouble opening this bottle. Give me 1 second, and we are good to go. Now, these little things here, really annoying. Doesn't let you pour. You have to do dashes. In terms of dashes, what I mean by that is this is a dash. So, some people use 2, usually not enough flavor. Some people use 4, sometimes a little too much flavor, depending. Happy medium 3, right? So what we're gonna do is right here, 1, 2, 3. We're good to go. Got a really messy, sadly, I have no excuse because I haven't started drinking yet. I'm just a klutzy bitch. So, we're gonna move on. Now, last but not least, you don't have to put your garnish in your shaker just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my garnish, if I can set this back up, here we go. I'm going to take my garnish and I'm going to put it in the glass before I start, or before I pour it, per se. So, glass, a little bit of ice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of this, right? Cherry, not too much of that cherry syrup, because that's really, really potent stuff for such it's a very, very small beverage. It doesn't use a lot of liquid, so it's easily affected by other flavors. That's why those bitters are so effective, because there's not a lot in this drink. There's 2.5 ounces. I use about 2 ounces of bourbon, 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, and we're good to go. We're ready to rock. So, I take that. Let's see, here's my shaker, and there's my lid. So, that's all we need, right? Nice and easy. So, glass with my cherry in it already. Here's my sweetened up bourbon, my old fashioned. Some people, instead of using simple syrup, will use sugar cubes. And I like how this thing keeps getting pulled out of focus because that little piece of glass there. Now, but yes, some people use sugar cubes, whatever it may be, instead of the actual simple syrup. And some people do the 1-in-1 ratio instead of the 2-to-1, where they will do 1 pound of water or 1 pound of sugar. But honestly, to me, it's adding a lot more water to your drink than the actual sweetener. So that if I wanted to water down my drinks, I'd put a lot more ice in this thing. But I don't need too much. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So, besides a classic old-fashioned, which I am now excited I get to enjoy that, we're going to move on to something a little bit fancier. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, same thing, right? The big one of the Bulleit bourbon, right? Nice and easy. Bulleit bourbon, I don't have to change up too much. Because of the simple syrups I made, I don't have to do too much at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blueberry simple syrup here. Yep, blueberry simple syrup. Instead, I'm going to use some cocoa bitters, chocolate bitters. Right? So, 1, 2, 3. It's about right. So, okay. That being said, I don't really need a garnish for this one. It's already extremely sweet as it is. That's perfectly fine. So, try this one real quick. Shit, I grabbed the wrong one. My bad. I'm an idiot. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, nope, this is going to be a battle. Because that's, I can hand that to pretty much anyone, even if they're not a big alcohol person, and say they like their cosmopolitans or margaritas, stuff like that. that would work well for them. This one, I love bourbon as it is, so I don't know which one I like more, but hopefully you learned a little bit from this, including making simple syrup. If you'd like to see me actually make the simple syrup, I don't think you really do. It's a really, really easy recipe. I mean, explaining it should be enough, but hey, if you would like me to break down, absolutely. But hopefully you learned a little something. Hopefully you don't make as many alcoholics as I have, and hopefully you stay responsible. See you in the next one.